no surprise, a big part of why the Badgers are ranked 5th in the country. Frank Kaminsky. And it all starts with bringing home a Big Ten championship. Tonight marks Aaron Rodgers' 100th career start. He said earlier in the week, 100 makes him feel old. His teammates call him Captain America or Clutch.
If you thought it was loud before, you haven't heard anything yet.
So especially if Decker can duplicate that performance from Friday night, they could easily be making their way out to L.A. next week. Today in Maryvale, Arizona, temperatures were in the 80s. So it's easy to see why the Brewers report there for spring training.
They're hoping to trade in this not-so-spring-like weather for sunny Anaheim, California.
If it sounds familiar, that's because it is. There isn't a team in the Big Ten that takes care of the basketball better than Wisconsin. The long-awaited return of Brett Favre to Green Bay was short-lived. Junior Sam Decker also named to the preseason all-conference team. But the Elite Eight might as well be called the Elusive Eight for Wisconsin. They haven't been since 2005. They've also lost 13 starters, including much of their front seven on defense. Here's something I don't get to say every day. The Brewers are in first place in the NL Central. We're just minutes away from meeting the new face of the Milwaukee Bucks with the start of this year's NBA draft. If the Badgers want to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16 for the second straight year, they'll have to go through Oregon for the second straight year. Well, since Aaron Rodgers loves to spell, like for instance, RELAX, the NFL thought he should add a few more letters to his season's repertoire, like MVP.
Now, 27 Sports with Veronica Rohrmoser.
Well, Frank Kaminsky may lead the team in scoring, assists, rebounds, blocks, and field goal percentage. He may be the front-runner for National Player of the Year and a finalist for the Senior Class Award. But when we talk about what makes 5th-ranked Wisconsin so good, we have to talk about the real star of the team, Bo Ryan. The head coach being named a finalist for the Naismith Hall of Fame today, and rightfully so. Ryan has coached to more than 700 wins, 17 championships, including 4 Division III national titles at UW-Platteville, countless conference and National Coach of the Year accolades, and the most conference wins in Wisconsin history and counting. Wisconsin has won 7 straight in the Big Ten for the second year in a row, matching the school's longest conference streak in almost 70 years. But tomorrow, Illinois comes to the Kohl Center riding a 4-game winning streak. And with their leading scorer and rebounder back on the court, senior guard Rayvonte Rice returned Thursday from a 9-game suspension.
They're a different team when he's out there, but overall we kind of have a good feel for them. They're going to come here, feeling really confident, playing really hard, so it's going to be a great test.
A lot of it has to do with confidence. They're a pretty confident team right now, but we're going to have to do whatever we can to try to, hit or knock them off their streak.
Playing a hot team, they're very confident coming in. They think they're going to win, and those are the games you want to play. 2 good teams going at it, so they're going to come in guns blazing.
In Big Ten action today, the Michigan State faithful hoping for some love from their own Valentine, Denzel Valentine, and he would cap off a 10-2 run to put the Spartans ahead of number 25 Ohio State. The Buckeyes not going away. D'Angelo Russell with the steal and the finish by Sam Thompson. Tied up with under 10 seconds to play on February 14th. You gotta go to the guy named Valentine, right? Happy Valentine's Day to the Spartans, knocking off Ohio State 59-56. And 19th-ranked Maryland narrowly edges Penn State 76-73. And the Badger men's hockey team finally nabs its 3rd win of the year. On the road at Ohio State today, Wisconsin takes down the Buckeyes 3-2 for their first win of the Big Ten season. Well, the NBA All-Star Weekend continues. Giannis Antetokounmpo trying to show everyone why they call him the Greek Freak. An entrance true to his name at the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, but the Bucks forward couldn't make the first dunk. Second dunk, he got his little brother involved. Not bad, but got a little selfie time at the end, but it'd be Zach LaVine taking home the Slam Dunk trophy. Oh my. Bucks Brandon Knight competing in the skills challenge, but he would fall short in the end to Patrick Beverly. NASCAR is officially back, the 2015 preseason kicking off today with the Sprint Unlimited race in Daytona. And wouldn't you know it, Matt Kenseth finds himself in victory lane. It's Kenseth's first Unlimited win, and while it doesn't count for any points, that's the way to start the year. The Bucks are hoping Kenyon Martin can continue to help keep the team afloat, signing the center to another 10-day contract today. 3 of Milwaukee's key players are out with injury. Adding insult to injury, Larry Sanders, who hasn't played in 11 games, was suspended without pay for 10 more games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Tonight, Milwaukee hosting Toronto, and the Bucks out to an early lead. Brandon Knight drains the three. Knight with 20 on the night. But their lack of depth, obviously a problem. Terrence Ross throwing down the reverse dunk. Bucks effort a late surge, but rebounding a huge issue. Raptors with 20 offensive boards. Bucks fall 92-89. There isn't a team in the Big Ten that takes care of the basketball better than Wisconsin. And no Big Ten team is better at taking the ball away than Minnesota. The 5th-ranked Badgers lead the nation in fewest turnovers per game at 7.4 and are riding a 9-game winning streak. But this was a close one early. Gophers playing great D. Maurice Walker forcing the turnover. And on the other end, Carlos Morris puts up the floater to make it a 1-point game. But Captain America to the rescue. Josh Gosser fighting inside, gets it to go. With that bucket, Gosser becomes just the 2nd player in Wisconsin history to have 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 250 assists in a career. Second half, Wisconsin starting to pull away. Nigel Hayes banging around in the post, dishes to a wide-open Bronson Koenig for 3. The sophomore with a career-high 17 points today. Frank Kaminsky added 21 of his own. Nice spin move down low. He was 9 of 13 with 3 blocks as the Badgers win their 10th straight, topping Minnesota 63-53. Wisconsin now 25-2 for their best start in school history. Well, Melvin Gordon is the nation's top collegiate running back as this year's winner of the Doak Walker Award, but now it's time to prove he can play at the next level. The NFL Scouting Combine continues. Running backs, quarterbacks, and wide receivers on display today. And Gordon did his part to become the first back selected in the first round of the draft since 2012. At 6'1", 215, Gordon did 19 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds and unofficially clocked a 4.5 240. Good for 5th among backs. That'll do it for sports. We'll be right back.
Place hasn't changed.
John Brady isn't in the Wisconsin history books. He isn't known as a star. He never set or broke a record. He never won a championship.
They would fill this field house.
After graduating from Madison East, Brady played on the Badgers' then freshman team in the 1940-41 season, when the varsity team won the national championship.
The following year, Bud Foster called me in and said to me, John, what school are you in? And I proudly said I was in chemical engineering school. And Bud said, I think you'd make a good chemical engineer. In other words, I wasn't good enough for that basketball team.
But 71 years ago, Brady did make the team.
At that point, Bud Foster really needed bodies, so he invited me to come back out.
In his entire collegiate career, Brady scored just 1 point.
In March, I had my orders to go on active duty in the Navy. So Bud Foster knew this, so he sent me into the basketball game against Minnesota. Fortunately, I was able to steal the ball and dribbled in for supposedly a layup, but the guy hit me and knocked me into the 3rd row of the bleachers, and I did make 1 free throw. This is the end where I made my 1 point.
We kind of teased him about it, and when my daughter was playing basketball at Navy and she made her first basket, he was the first call, and he said, well, Bets, you've outscored me already. Now go for a whole bundle.
Last month, Brady's family brought him to the Wisconsin-Purdue game for his 92nd birthday.
They didn't cheer my 1 point, but when they did hear that I was 92 years old and that when I was playing, I was headed for the Navy in World War II, then I got the standing ovation, and I was very, very pleased with that.
It's not what Brady did on the court, but off the court that mattered most. In Madison, Veronica Rohrmoser, 27 Sports.
I had a plan in my life.
Patrick McDonald always dreamed of being a professional athlete.
After the military, kick field goals for the Oakland Raiders. That's all changed.
McDonald will never kick field goals again, but he will head to Sochi next month as captain of the U.S. Paralympic curling team.
Good things happen, bad things happen. Both happened that day.
22 years ago, McDonald was stationed in Korea with the U.S. Army.
The vehicle made the ground give away, rounding a turn over an embankment, And when we went over, we flipped this way. My neck was broken, and my back just pretzeled up.
He was crushed under the weight of a 1,300-pound supply box.
It was just, all right, life's going to go on, and it's just going to be from a different perspective. Sports was my way of getting back into the world, I guess.
McDonald will be making his second trip to the Olympics.
I got to, have, I guess you can say, a different kind of uniform.
And that new uniform led him to Steve Brown.
Steve's first question every year is, so when are you moving to Wisconsin?
See, McDonald lived in California, so 3 years ago he picked up his entire family and moved.
I had never worked with disabled people at all, so I really, honestly didn't think I'd be a very good fit. I didn't think I would be able to adjust or accept it. But they moved the family just so he could train with me full-time on a daily basis. And that type of commitment tells me that this is a guy that's not only deserves a medal, but I think he's going to get a medal.
My life took a different path that day, and I think you could say it was for the better, because I probably wouldn't have been able to do, everything that I've done. Being able to represent your country and rolling out in front of all those people, it means everything.
McDonald is hoping he can help the U.S. bring home their first Paralympic curling medal. In Madison, Veronica Rohrmoser, 27 Sports.